brother! Ben, you know, as much as I look forward to winter every year, we are officially at the point where it has been so cold for so long that it feels endless. So today, we're gonna jump into everyone's favorite Disney princess story about an eternal winter. Beauty and the Beast.
Just a bit of snow in June.
Classic Maurice. Seriously though, one of my favorite things about the live action version of this movie is that it just covered up so many of the plot holes, like what happened to the Beast's parents? Why doesn't anyone in town realize there's a giant castle just a day away? But one stone that remains unturned is, what's the deal with the wolves? Do you like smashing stuff? Do you need life advice? Would you like some Super Brothers to give you that advice? Well, great news! Over on Super Carlin Gaming, we are playing Super Smash Brothers and giving life advice. You can ask us questions in the comments of each video, and then we'll select them and answer them in future videos. Link in the description, check it out now. I say now, I mean like after the video. Seriously though, move over, Frozen. Your eternal winter only lasts like a day tops. How are you even so certain it was eternal? Beauty and the Beast, on the other hand, has an eternal winter that lasts for like 10 years and turns people into clocks and candles and teapots and stuff. But what other effects did it have? Because one of the somewhat crucial plot points to the entire story, which goes kind of unexplained, is the role of the wolves. And you might just think nothing of them. They're just wild animals that show up to attack anyone who's making their way to the castle. And yet, this is not exactly true. While they may seem really threatening because, you know, they keep showing up and trying to eat people, their appearance only ever really serves to advance the plot in favor of the proper outcome, which is to say the reversal of the curse. Think about it though. Let's just run down the list. The wolves first appear when Maurice is traveling and he finds his way blocked, and all of a sudden he is forced to take a different path towards the castle. Which right out of the gate, something is askew here. Like no time in the past 10 years has anyone ever stumbled towards the castle down this path at all, and now out of the blue it's just forced upon him. Yeah, that lightning looked really random. You'd almost have to think that the Enchantress is trying to have the spell resolved. You can just see her watching afar like, ah man, I made it way too hard to find the castle and now there's only like a month left. What am I gonna do? But if we back the film up like 1 minute, look what happens just before the lightning strikes that tree. Gaston insults Agatha, who we know to be the Enchantress, and then Belle rejects him before running to a hilltop and wishing for more than they have planned. More than they have planned, eh? I have an idea. Which of course leads us to our first encounter with the wolves, who fail to kill or even injure Maurice or Philippe and chase him instead right to the castle gates, where they promptly stop chasing him. And you might think that's just because the wolves have had a bad experience around the castle in the past, or that they're afraid of the beast, but I'm not so sure. I mean, they certainly have no issue attacking him later on, but at the same time, they also completely fail to attack or even notice Belle when she arrives at the castle for the first time. Nor do they show up when the beast lets her go at the end. Nor do they show up when she returns again at the end. Which, by the way, Beast maybe like escort her off the premises this time. Certainly you remember what happened last time. And this time it's even worse. She's wearing a bright yellow, even glowing dress, and you're just standing there singing about how much you love her, even though you don't care that she might get eaten by wolves. Forevermore. Point is that of the 4 trips Belle makes to and from the castle, on only one occasion do the wolves show up at all. Which, like, what gives wolves? Free food, am I right? What gives is that I don't think the wolves actually care about eating anyone. What I think they care about is the beast falling in love with somebody, because they too are under the spell of the Enchantress. They're really kind of an odd phenomenon because they only seem to exist inside the cursed area around the castle. I mean, they almost have to, because they look like they're starving, right? And certainly outside the cursed area, there's plenty of life they could be feeding on, but they just stick right here in the winter. Like, I'm no savage wolf or anything, but if it were me, and this is just me talking, I wouldn't want to live on this side of the line where it's winter. I'd want to live on that side where it's not. But so if they are under the spell of the Enchantress, then that also must mean that they were once people, right? Exactly. And I think I know who those people are. None other than the dancers from the beginning. The odd thing about the residents of the castle is that there are just oh so few of them. Really, it's just the Beast, Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Chip, Plumette, Madame Gardrobe, Cadenza, and Chapeau. But if you go back and watch the party in that opening scene, there are way more people than that inside that castle. And maybe you just assume that, yes, actually those people are in the castle, but they're really not main characters, so we just don't really see them. But I don't think so. I mean, none of them show up when the villagers attack, and that final scene when they all think they're about to permanently become whatever object they became, it's really sad and touching, and they all definitely want to be together, and it's just those small cast of characters. But so then what happened to the large number of white-clad people who were in the castle when the Enchantress showed up? If only there was another group of things within the enchanted area that were all white. Yeah. It's the wolves. In fact, it even goes deeper than that. Look who specifically is laughing at the Enchantress when she shows up with the rose. Yes, the prince is front and center, but actually the only other people you can see right behind him are all of the women in white. The rest of the castle is sort of collateral damage, punished on the prince's behalf, but these people are actually laughing at the Enchantress, and so I think they get punished similar to the prince. He gets turned into a beast, and so do they. The opening poem also says that the spell was cast on the castle and everyone who lived there. But the thing is, that night, obviously not everyone at the party also lived there. So what became of the guests? Again, they became the wolves, which is why the wolves are not the threats we see them for and are instead extremely in favor of the beast falling in love, possibly even under the command of the Enchantress herself. Their actions may seem violent, but their motives are the same of the residents of the castle. They're just playing the hand they were dealt. When Maurice leaves, he is driven to the castle by the wolves, which immediately prompts Belle to pursue him where she is unattacked. And also notice that after they switch places, Maurice is unattacked when he leaves because his job is done. Belle had a very wolf-free journey on her way there because the Enchantress wants her to switch places, and the Enchantress is also the reason Maurice is sent in that direction in the woods. But when Belle tries to escape, the wolves do show up because at this point, they have not fallen in love yet and they need her to go back. Plus, look how their interference pans out. One, it gives the beast the opportunity to save Belle's life, and two, it gives Belle the opportunity to nurse the beast back to health. Those are the two major scenes where they actually show up, but their absence is almost as telling as their presence, because it's not like they don't have other opportunities to eat. Like for example, when Maurice is trying to bring Gaston to the castle to rescue Belle, you can hear the wolves, but they don't show up. They just sort of scare everyone off because the business in the castle isn't done yet. Plus, the tree from earlier has been magically resurrected, which just further supports the idea that the Enchantress is pulling the strings and that she's in cahoots with the wolves. Then there's the time the entire town marches towards the castle, and again, no wolves show up, although I guess you could argue that at that time there was a giant mob of people with like clubs and pitchforks and torches and stuff. Regardless though, once the curse is finally broken, guess what? They have another party, and guess who's back? All of the women in white. Also, how much would it break the fairy tale if they finally broke the curse, but then surrounding the castle there was still this major problem in the form of a ravenous pack of wolves? But what I think is the really interesting takeaway here is that if the wolves are in fact under the spell of the Enchantress, then it kind of reveals her motivations a little more. It suggests that when she shows up at the beginning, she's not even really there to test the prince. She's already identified a massive problem and is just seeking to correct it. Like, her goal isn't to punish the prince for valuing outer beauty. Her goal is to help the entire kingdom by helping its leader recognize his vain point of view. Refusing the rose isn't revealing the problem. The opening poem already says he's been taxing the villagers and seeks out extremely expensive items.
He taxed the village to fill his castle with the most beautiful objects.
The rose is really more of a representation of the problem for everyone else and acts as a clock on the curse. But if she is indeed selfless and she's actually just trying to help the town and not just punish the prince, then you can tell that she is getting worried that all of a sudden the clock's about to run out and it hasn't solved itself. So that's why she sends Maurice down the path. And ultimately, I think that just fits better with the story. I mean, otherwise the Enchantress is a bit of a hypocrite. Blaming the prince for his vanity, but then also punishing everyone forever? Like, What's nice about that? Nothing is nice about that, unless it's actually a very, 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 very long play to create an even longer period of prosperity and good values in the kingdom. And by kingdom, I mean one giant castle that can literally house the entire single town it presides over. But there you go, Ben. That is the explanation of the wolves in Beauty and the Beast. My question for you and everyone else is, what do you think? Were the dancers from the beginning transformed into the wolves? Let us know in the towel section down below. Whoa, those are some pretty great looking sunglasses. I dare say they'd go great on a Beauty or a Beast. Check them out now at SuperCarlinBrothers.store. Guys, thanks as always for watching today's video. Please leave a like on it if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Disney action from us. If you want to find out the book Belle is reading at the beginning of the movie, you can check out this video right here. Or if you'd like the Gaston song explained, you can check out this video right here. But Ben, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, bro.